The following is a presentation of LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
Hello friends, and thank you for joining us this evening as LSPN and the Michigan High School Athletic Association welcome you to Madison Township and this Class C first round district tournament matchup, where tonight the 14-6 Redskins of Clinton go up against the 15-5 Madison Trojans. Good evening. I'm Jesse Ramirez alongside Dan Empson. Dan, what can you tell me about the Clinton Redskins?
Well, the Clinton Redskins have got a tall task tonight because Clinton has already played Madison twice this season, which you as a Madison guy know. We're going to try to keep the bias out as much as we can tonight for you.
We're going to try.
But Clinton's got an opportunity here to do something that they couldn't do twice already, which is win a game against Madison. They lost at home by 6 points. They lost on the road by 16.
Yeah.
So they need to figure something out tonight, whether it be shooting the ball better, playing better defense, whatever, to try to solve the puzzle they've had here with Madison.
Okay. So we're going to send it over to Wallen, who has Clinton's head coach. Wallen.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Clinton head coach, Coach Rule. I know we're pressed for time. I asked you one quick question. I know you played Madison twice before. What do you think that you've learned from those past games that will help you get a victory tonight?
Well, when you get beat by a team twice, you got to adjust. And I felt like the first time we played them, we played okay. The second time, we were real stagnant. We were banged up. We were flat, and we didn't really attack. They were packed in man-to-man. That's what we have to do tonight. We got to attack them, back it up with stops, feed our break. Good things are going to happen for us.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Wallen. And we'll be back after this break. You're watching high school varsity basketball on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
As the voice of Michigan's student athletes, the Student Advisory Council's role
is to convey the message of how high school sports are supposed to be played. We are responsible for helping the MHSAA maintain a positive and healthy atmosphere
in which interscholastic athletes can thrive.
We believe athletes should be competitive,
sportsmanlike, and excel academically.
We believe students in the stands should have fun,
but not take the focus away from the game.
We believe coaches should act as teachers, helping student athletes develop
while still keeping high school sports in perspective.
We believe that parents should always be positive role models
and be supportive of their child's decisions.
We believe officials commit their own time to high school sports,
and respect should always be shown and given to them.
The most important goal for student athletes is to enjoy high school sports
while keeping a high level of respect between all those involved in the games.
And welcome back. Dan, before the break we talked about the Redskins. Now let's talk about the Trojans. As you said before, they don't have their Prince Benson 6'8" center. What are they going to do to try to work around that?
Well, the good news for Madison is they've won a few games without him, so they know they can win games without having his force down low. But Madison, the one thing we've noticed about them over the course of this season, they're a defensive-minded team. They're only allowing 37 points a game right now, so that's something they're going to have to continue to do against Clinton. They didn't allow them to score, I think, over 40 in both of those two games. So Madison, look for them to lock down on defense, and we'll look for them to have that kind of a game where they can shoot the ball. Well, we saw them against Blissfield and only gave up 25. So if they can lock down on defense again against Clinton, they might be able to come away with a win and be able to move on in this tournament.
And I think they're going to have to rely on their guards like Keegan Sweet and David Gilbert are going to facilitate, try to get some open shots in the backcourt.
And those are guys you get to go to school with every day. So we'll have Wallen Augustin now take us through the head coach, Jeff Webster. What can you tell us, Wallen?
Thank you, guys. I'm here with Madison head coach, Coach Webster. I know you've played Clinton twice before now, and it's hard to beat a team twice, let alone 3 times. What do you think is some of the things that you maybe have to change to get this victory tonight?
Well, we had a week to prepare for tonight, so we didn't play at all last week. So we threw a few tweaks into our game plan. We have to understand that Sackett's hurt us the 2 games prior, so we got to really pay attention to Jared. And of course, you can't forget about Karapis and Luzier. They're tough.
Yep. Now, so I know you're down one of your bigs, Prince, and I know he's a big part of your game. How do you think that's going to affect the game tonight?
Yeah, well, we didn't have him last game, and I thought that the kids stepped up. We're going to have to do the same thing tonight. We don't have him again, and our defense is going to have to be awesome if we're going to get this win tonight.
All right, thank you, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
See you later.
Right.
Back to you, Jesse and Dan.
All right, thanks, Wallen. We're going to take another break, and after that, we're going to have our tip-off and player introductions. You're watching high school varsity basketball on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
The broadcast of today's game is a copyrighted presentation of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and LSPN. No reproduction, retransmission, or other distribution of descriptions or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and LSPN.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for tonight's starting lineups. First from Clinton, number 10, senior Colin Poor. From Madison, number 2, senior Keegan Sweet. From Clinton, number 14, senior Jared Sackett. From Madison, number 5, junior Colin and Schutz. From Clinton, number 20, junior Noah Poor. From Madison, number 11, junior Colby Wiedenhagen. From Clinton, number 24, senior Ryan Carapas. From Madison, number 21, senior David Gilbert. From Clinton, number 34, senior Ryan Luzier. From Madison, number 23, sophomore Donovan Slates. The Redskins are coached by Mike Rule. The Trojans are coached by Jeff Webster. Tonight's officials are Dick Callahar, Amy Pistone, and Demetrius Owens.
As Madison is hosting the Clinton Redskins in the first round of the playoffs here, we can see both teams huddling up, getting a game plan ready as they get into the game, actually.
And I tell you what, the crowd is still filtering in here. It looks like there's a whole lot of Madison fans. The Clinton fans are in their end zone. The Madison kids are dressed in all sorts of, I don't even know what.
I think it's a wacky day today.
Is it wacky day?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Oh, they have got the wacky part down. It looks like they raided their parents' closet and decided to pull the 80s back out again.
I can see that.
Your PA guy here at Madison, he is into it. So we'll see if that translates for the team's effort tonight.
Yeah. My girlfriend's dad.
Does the PA?
Yeah.
All right.
And the Clinton Redskins win the tip. Got Jared Sackett bringing the ball up. Gonna get a pick. and throw it over to Carapaz. Carapaz over to Poor. Poor over to Luzier. Luzier back over to Carapaz. Poor over to Sackett. Sackett's going to drive. Poor over to Luzier. Luzier's going to miss the shot there. Keegan Sweet with the rebound.
Whole lot of motion, whole lot of movement on that first possession for Clinton. They're obviously trying to get Madison to lose somebody as they're setting up the offense.
Keegan Sweet takes a three, and it is no good. And that's going to be Poor with the rebound. He's going to lose it and take Keegan Sweet out in the process. And then a missed layup there by Luzier.
A little too much energy and effort from everybody so far. They are clearly trying a little too hard to make these shots.
I think they got the adrenaline up right now.
Both teams.
Yeah. And a wild pass over to Poor. Poor over to Luzier. Luzier's going to get a handoff to Sackett. Sackett's going to get double teamed almost up at the top. And an easy pass over to Luzier for the easy 2 points.
And that was a great job of finding the open arm, because whenever you're double teamed, you know somebody's open.
Yeah. David Gilbert over to Sweet. Sweet back to Gilbert. Gilbert's going to go in the middle to Slates. Slates back to Gilbert. Gilbert's going to pump fake back to Slates. Over to Ann shoots. Anne's going to try to drive out to Sweet. Sweet going to pump fake there. Gilbert's going to do a pump fake again. Back to Keegan Sweet in the corner. Sweet over to Wheatenhagen. Wheatenhagen back to Gilbert to Colin Inch. A lot of passes here. Sweet is going to take a little jumper there and be off as the Madison Trojans take the rebound, though.
And what they're doing right now, Clinton's sitting in a 2-3 zone, so they're making it difficult for Madison to find any lane to shoot.
As you see right there.
So maybe that's one way Clinton decided they can slow down this Madison offense, is by just sitting back and daring Madison to make shots.
Right. And Madison hasn't came up to the opportunity yet, as Wheatenhagen and Carapaz going to fight for the ball there. That's going to be a foul on Wheatenhagen.
We see a lot of intensity, like we said, on both sides. So that's good to see. I mean, both teams understand this is win or go home. You are done after today, and nobody wants their season to be done yet. And even the teams that are like 1-19 right now.
Right, and for a lot of seniors, this might be their last game.
Exactly.
As Sweet takes the ball up. He's looking, but he's going to take it all the way and get fouled and one opportunity.
Great decision by Keegan Sweet to take the ball all the way to the hole. The reason being, he didn't want to let Clinton settle into that zone and make it difficult for them to find a lane to shoot in again. That zone is designed to let players not get within about 10 or 12 feet and force them to shoot jump shots, which, let's be honest, if you can do a layup from 2 feet or a jump shot from 20, what do you take?
The layup. You're going to take the layup.
I mean, I can't make a layup, but everybody else on this court should be able to.
And the first free throw of the game is down for Keegan Sweet. Sackett's going to take the ball up. Getting a play call from the coach over there.
Not sure if you can hear it right now.
No, it's very loud in here. And a crazy pass. Clinton's going to keep possession still. Sackett's going to have the ball up top. Over to Poor. Noah Poor, that is. Over to Carapaz. Carapaz, another crazy pass to Poor. And Luzier is going to get tangled up with the ball. Donovan Slates. The jump ball's called. Madison's going to keep possession since Clinton won the tip-off.
And that was a good tie-up right there for Madison. They basically are sitting back in the same kind of zone Clinton is and saying, go ahead, take outside shots. You're giving some players 5-6 feet, but they haven't taken a three.
Keegan Sweet with the ball up top. He's going to get a pick from Gilbert. And a little jumper is going to be no good, but Wheatenhagen, Donovan Slates with the rebound. Sweet up top of the ball again, over to Gilbert. Back to Sweet. To Wheatenhagen, over to Gilbert. Gilbert, a little tip or handoff to Keegan. And a stolen ball.
And that's what a zone will let you do, get in those passing lanes. That might have been a travel, but they didn't call it.
No. Ball don't lie. As he missed the floater there. Keegan Sweet almost lost the handles there, and over to Gilbert. Gilbert back to Sweet. Over to Wheatenhagen. Gilbert over to Sweet. Looking for an open man. He gets it, Wheatenhagen. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert with a pump fake there. And a knockaway pass by Poor.
This game is either going to have a lot of threes or a lot of not scoring the ball, because so far what we've seen, both teams are reluctant to take those outside shots because the long rebounds, the high percentage, low percentage, but both teams are sitting back saying, all we're going to give you is long shots, and that's both teams' mentality right now. So it's going to be interesting to see where this game unfolds.
And for Madison, we have a sub. We have Jared Sloop and also Gunnar Rainey. And the ball is smacked away, but Madison's going to keep possession. Kobe Wheaton trying not to get tied up for a jump ball over to Anschutz. Anschutz over to Wheaton, back to Sweet. Sweet's going to a little pump fake there. Colin Anschutz in the middle. He's going to get fouled on the floor. Trojans are going to keep possession.
And again, they try to tie him up just like Madison did down to them on this side.
Trying to get the jump ball situation.
Exactly. You can see how difficult it is, though, to get the ball inside when a zone defense is spaced properly. So far, both teams done a great job of that.
Over to Rainey. Rainey over to Wheaton, back to Sweet. Over to Wheaton. Over to Rainey, jumping to get that ball. And shoots. Over to Sloop. Sloop's going to get a little layup there, not going to go in for him.
First time in a while they've gotten anything in the lane.
Yeah. Sack it over to Luzier. Luzier to Poor. Pass to Sackett. Carapaz over to Poor. Over to Sackett. To Poor. And Carapaz going to dribble the ball around. Over to Sackett. And Madison with the hard defense, they come away with the steal. That's Colin Anschutz looking for Jared Sloop. And actually Wheaton doesn't get it. And we have a foul for Wheaton. I believe that's already a second foul.
If that is, he's probably going to be coming out, and it looks like they're getting player ready. Trent Johnston ready to come in the game, probably for Wheaton.
Yeah. And Donovan Slate's going to come back in the game too, it looks like.
I give Donovan Slate's full props. This is a kid who 6 foot, maybe 6'2".
I would say, yeah.
And is playing center right now because Prince Benson is out, so he's not the typical center.
What? He's not 6 foot. I've seen him in the hallways. He's probably maybe 5'10", 5'11".
And he's playing down low because that's what Madison has to offer right now. It's like that's what they've got, so they're moving him around to different spots.
He's got to use his strength rather than his size playing that position.
Exactly. Body position is everything.
Yep. Over to Luzier. Luzier back to Carapaz. To Poor. Over to Carapaz. Carapaz back to Poor. Poor in the corner to his brother. He's going to drive. He's going to get it back. Carapaz over to Poor. Trying to get an open shot. They're not really getting it.
Probably good thing we don't have a shot clock.
Yes, they've had it for a while now. And a little shot does not go in there. Almost a takeaway by Sackett. Gunnar Rainey over to Johnston. Johnston almost taken away. Donovan Slates with an easy 2 points there.
First time in a while that Madison was able to get the ball down low, and that's because Clinton didn't have a chance to set up. It's that transition offense that's Madison's best bet right now to try to get some points on the board.
So it's going to be 5-2. Madison with the lead. Over to Carapaz over to Poor. Luzier with the three, and it is no good. Keegan Sweet with the rebound.
You know, Clinton was out here early, very early, shooting warm-ups, but it doesn't seem to help him out right now.
No, they're not getting any shots now. And that's all they're getting is deep threes, deep twos. And Sloop is going to be blocked, but also get the foul after the second attempt there.
Big move by Donovan Slates, jumping into the Clinton crowd to actually get that ball, save it in there, and give Madison a chance to get some points from the line. It's good to see your fellow classmates getting into it on the other sideline here.
Yeah, they just want to tell them that you can't do that.
Just a little friendly reminder. There are fouls called in this game, and it might be on you.
Yeah. Is Jared Sloop's going to shoot his first of 2 free throws. And it's going to be no good. Clinton fan zone might have had a little to say right there.
That's my favorite part about this. Whether or not it actually matters or helps, man, as a fan, you think it does. And here it probably doesn't help as much because the fans can't get high enough up to screw with the vision in the backboard, but they think they're doing something. That's the important part.
I think it's more the noise gets in your head more than anything. Sackett's going to take the ball up. Get a pick from Poor. He's going to throw it over to Carapaz. Carapaz, a little crazy shot there. They want to have a jump ball, I believe?
No, that was a foul. We're going to call it over the back.
Okay, makes sense.
He got a little bit too high and right there. Tyler Underwood had position, so they're going to give Underwood the ball. But because he wasn't taking a shot, he was just coming down with it, it's just going to be an inbounds.
Okay. And we have Chris Kangas coming in for the Madison Trojans, and also
a guy that's not on our sheet.
Darian Zuloff, I believe his name is.
Well, that'd be why. I don't think I know how to spell his name. We'll have to figure that out at halftime.
And a pick by Poor is going to have that open three by Sackett. Adam Slate's trying to get there, but
and like you said, there was an open look. For the first time in a while, they had an open look that they were willing to take. Clinton had some open chances. They just haven't been taking those looks.
Zuloff over to Kangas. Kangas, a little pump fake pass there over to Johnston. Johnston's going to slow the offense down for the Madison Trojans for a little bit. Maybe take the last shot if they want to.
Well, again, that's the weird part about high school basketball. There's no shot clock, you can hang out of the ball for the entire quarter if you wanted to.
Although that wouldn't be very exciting.
No.
And then that's just Chris Kangas not really paying attention to the ball there.
One too many passes, maybe just guys not thinking the ball is going to come to them. But that's the thing. Yeah, when you're a player, I don't care how important or not important you think you're going to be in your team's offense, you have to be watching the ball at all times. You have to be ready as you make a cut. Every time you make a move, you have to be thinking the ball could come to me.
Sackett's going to give it over to Karapis. Karapis is going to take it in, and another 2 points there. Redskins take the lead going into the half, unless he makes this, and he is not going to.
He launched one. That was a nice first quarter for Clinton to finish things off after they were stuck on 2 points for a long time. I tell you what surprised me the most there, not was that both teams came out in the zone, but that both teams were so effective with it.
Right, yeah. Not getting a lot of good shots. All right, so we're going to toss at the break. The score is 7-6 here in the Madison. You're watching high school varsity basketball on LSPN, your home for Lenawee sports.
Especially when it comes to car seats.
Oh, really? I just did what any bear would do.
So know for sure that your child is in the right car seat for their age and size.
I like it.
To learn more, visit safercar.gov/the right seat.
Oh, hello there.
Oh, where's that bear?
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, and welcome back to the game. Second quarter, Trojans down 6-7. Playing the zone a lot.
You almost want to talk about like a boxing match. Like it's the two fighters were feeling each other out in the first quarter. Because again, like we talked about, Madison has beaten Clinton twice, so Clinton maybe had to come out with a little bit different. I didn't get a chance to see the other two games. Don't know if they were in the zone, but so far working out pretty well for both teams.
A lot of hard shots, and they're going to have to try to make shots like that, which is very contested, but it's still going to go down for them.
And Karapis seems to really like that baseline.
As King Sweet's trying to make a play up as those. To Gilbert over to Zuloff? I'm going to get that name down by the end of the game.
Colin Poor got his hand on that one, so it'll say Madison ball.
Over to Sweet. Hopefully he doesn't mind. I'm just going to say Darian because that's a little bit easier to say.
Then Sweet?
No, Darian Zuloff.
Well, you're ahead of me on that one. I'd love to call him Zoolander, but I don't know if he'd appreciate it. But he can't keep his feet straight. I'm not sure if he's going to walk the catwalk right there. Got called for a travel. It was one of those mind moving a little faster, a little slower than the feet there. Gunnar Rainey coming back into the game for the Trojans.
Poor's going to throw it in to Sackett. Sackett's going to take the ball up for the Redskins. Poor's going to set the pick, trying to get Sackett open.
It's always fun seeing guards throwing picks. Tell you what, Ryan Karapis is feeling it right now. That's his third shot in the last 2 minutes.
Sweet over to Rainey. Rainey over to Gilbert. Gilbert back to Sweet. Over to Rainey. Trying to get a good shot in. They're not really seeing anything. Out to Rainey again, over to Sweet.
One of the things about a zone, too, if you are the player in the post, you cannot take a long time figuring out what to do with the ball. Sometimes if it's man-to-man, you can kind of figure out when you're on the block, back to the basket, figure out, am I going to go this way, that way? When there's a zone, pretty quickly someone's going to collapse down on you and have a hand on the ball if you're spending too much time trying to decide what to do. The second time that Slate's got the ball, he moved quicker. He just stepped a little too close to the baseline.
You have quick moves and quick thinking. That's what it takes. Krappa's going to take another shot, and it's in. He's just feeling it. That hoop is wide open for him.
Locked in 4 of 5 tonight.
Over to Gilbert. Gilbert to Rainey. Sweet. He's going to drive it in and get fouled. Trying to do the same move he did earlier where he easily cut through, and this time he's going to get fouled, not getting an easy shot.
And I'll be honest with you, that's probably the best thing that's happened for Madison so far this quarter. They have not had a whole lot of luck getting inside, and when they have, they've turned it over.
Sweet with the ball. Throw it over to Gilbert. Over to Rainey. Rainey's going to pour out. Slate's with the ball. Out to Keegan Sweet. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert back to Sweet. Sweet's going to drive it in and take a shot. Not going to be good. Jared Sloop almost came down with it. Didn't get a good handle of it. Slipped out of his hands.
Right now when Clinton's taking shots inside, they've gone in, and vice versa for Madison.
That's going to be a foul on Rono. That was a travel.
And that was one of those calls that could go either way. Obviously, the Madison fans are happy about that. It looked like Rainey got his hand in there, but at the same time, it was one of those bang-bang moves where he pushed a man off a spot, and I believe it was Caden Kelly got called for the walk.
It's the playoffs, Dan. You got to let him play.
Of course you'd say that. You're a Madison man.
Hey. Yeah, I guess so. Over to Rainey.
No shame in that game.
Rainey over to Sweet. Sweet to Wheatenhagen. And shoots over to Sloop. A crazy pass there.
One of the challenges for Madison right now is Clinton does not respect their outside shot. Bad foul right there as Colin Anschutz got out a little bit too close on the shooter. He sold it, don't get me wrong. He sold that foul. I think it kind of looked like Jared Sackett had flown back like he'd been hit with a howitzer, but he still is going to get 3 foul shots now because of that.
And you could tell before he even took the shot, that was far back. I don't know if he was really thinking he was going to get fouled before he threw it up even.
Well, that was a college 3, if not further.
His first free throw's going down.
But like I was saying a minute ago, Madison, Clinton's giving them the outside shot. Clinton is sitting back saying, we're not scared of your three-point shot right now. And until Madison starts taking and making some of those, or doing a better job of penetrating, which neither one of those things they're doing an incredible job of right now.
Madison's not giving them a reason to come out and guard them.
Exactly. The Clinton's just sitting down, and when you can have a zone that's that compact because you're not worried about an outside shot, there's a hand in every passing lane you can think of. You're not going to be able to get the ball inside. All 3 of them. That's big.
16-6. Redskins up by 10 already.
Now again, Madison a good defensive team. You can see them locked down, but they need to start making some buckets too.
It looked like the Redskins really thought that Madison tipped it. Coach Rule.
As many hands as there were in that lane. I know he wants it to be for his team, but as many hands as there were in that lane, I got to think at least one of them was a Redskin.
Yeah. Trojans are going to have possession still. Coach Real still trying to argue his point. Rainey over to Sweet. Sweet to Wheatenhagen. Over to Sloop in the corner. Over to Rainey. Over to Sweet. Sweet's going to take it. Over to Sloop. Sloop's going to go out to Rainey. Rainey's going to take a 3 and not going to be good. But Sloop with the rebound. Over to Wheatenhagen. Wheatenhagen is Sweet. Another 3. And that one's good for Keegan Sweet.
And that was the possession that Madison needed. They got Clinton off balance with a lot of movement. They drove down underneath and did something with it. Madison needs a whole lot more of that if they're going to get back in this game. It is still early, don't get me wrong.
Sackett over to Karapas. Karapas over to Poor. Over to Sackett. Sackett's going to drive and get blocked there. A lot of contact. Sweet to Donovan Slate's almost lost it there. Sloop to Wheatenhagen over to Sweet. Rainey with another 3-point attempt. This one's no good, but Sloop's going to grab the rebound. A little deja vu there, Dan.
Yeah, a little bit, and he did a good job of getting in position, but they're going to say that he was a little bit too aggressive
so it's over the back.
So I don't even know if it was over the back so much as he just smashed him off his spot, and I guess they're going to call a foul with that one. And you can tell that Sloop disagrees with that call.
Well, he's got to.
But Madison, in their last 2 possessions, have done a lot better job of moving the ball, a lot better job of getting in position. But again, if you're going to take those outside shots, you got to make at least 40% to really keep the other team engaged on their defense. And that was right there was a foul on Caden Kelly. He kind of gave that moving pick sort of thing, gave a little elbow there to the defender coming out on the play. And the refs are on top of things so far tonight.
Keegan Sweet's going to take the ball up over to Wheaton-Hagen. Wheaton-Hagen's going to try to dribble out, not going to get anywhere. Go over to Sweet. Sweet with another 3. This one's also good.
That one was almost NBA level. That was at least a college 3 from how far out he shot that.
He must have heard you talking trash about the 3-pointers not going down.
I guess, because since I've said that, that's all they've been taking.
Over to Caden Kelly. Kelly over to Poor to Carapaz. Carapaz over to Kelly. A lot of passes, and then a 3, and that one's good for Clinton.
And Kelly did not have a whole lot of room. He had just enough to get the shot off, and that's all you need.
Sweet is going to dribble the ball out. Over to Rainey, back to Sweet, over to Wheaton-Hagen, back to Sweet. Sweet with another 3, and he's not going to make that one. And then we have a...
Called the foul. I thought maybe Wheaton-Hagen got down there and had gotten the tie-up, but that's going to give him, I believe, 3 now, so he's definitely coming out.
It might have been the position, too, because it looked like he was more behind than in front.
But that's a shame for him because he's probably sitting for the next 2:46, at least until the 3rd quarter. You can't afford to have a guy get a 4th foul in the first half.
Sackett's going to take the ball up. And a pass over to Carapaz. Carapaz looking over to Sackett. Sackett's going to drive back to Carapaz. Carapaz over to Poor, and a 3 for Clinton is no good. Sloop with the rebound, getting pushed there by Underwood.
Those are those unintentional fouls. He wasn't trying to knock him around, but one person stops, the other one doesn't. It's always a foul on the guy who doesn't stop.
Yeah, and even though it looked aggressive, he had no intention of pushing there.
With that foul, though, now that puts both teams 1 foul away from being in the bonus, which means they'd be shooting free throws for the rest of the quarter.
Keegan Sweet over to Gunnar Rainey. Rainey to Slates. Slates over to Keegan Sweet. Sweet going to drive, and Donovan Slates going to get the offensive rebound. But I think they're going to call a foul on him.
And he pushed somebody off the spot, I guess, because they're calling the foul on him, which means, again, trying a little bit too much to get in position, even though he greatly disagrees with that call. We just saw some words that a high schooler shouldn't be uttering.
Well, restating what we said earlier, he doesn't have the size of Prince Benson, and he's playing center, so he's got to use aggressiveness and strength in order to stay on the block and get some rebounds.
And of course, we wish Prince all the best. Of course, being a senior, meaning he's not going to get another opportunity, but hope that he recovers from that ACL tear as soon as he can.
He's going to be on the bench cheering his team on all along the way throughout their playoff run, if they do make it past this game.
So far, not so good for the Madison Trojans in that respect. 2 more for Carapaz at the line. He's got 10 already.
In the middle to Anschutz. Anschutz is going to lose the ball there.
I don't think we can call that a shot.
No.
Good, smart call on the timeout down there for Clinton. I think that was Jason Aarons that got the timeout in there. It's a very crucial moment for Clinton to get that and keep possession as we're getting down towards the end of the second.
So, what do you think Madison's head coach, Jeff Webster, is going to be telling his kids right now?
I think he's going to tell them to be a little bit more disciplined because they're into the bonus now, which means pretty much every foul from here on out
that Madison commits will give the Redskins one shot, and then again 2 once they get up to 10. The other thing I think he's saying is just stay calm as well on the offensive end. When they've moved the ball around, when they've penetrated and tried to kick out, that's when they've had some effectiveness on their offense. It's when they've just been sitting passing the ball around the outside, back around the outside, back around the outside. It's when they haven't tried to get inside with the dribble or with the pass that they've had issues. So what they need to do now for the next minute 55 before halftime, make a couple smart offensive plays, hold them, if they can hold them scoreless on defense, which isn't impossible, but certainly not easy, and get a couple buckets, try to get this lead down from 9 to maybe 4 or 5, then we're talking about a game in the second half that's going to be a lot easier to come back from.
Exactly. As Sackett's going to take the ball up. No rush for the Clinton Redskins. Over to Poor. Picked up his dribble there, over to Kelly. Kelly back to Poor, over to Sackett. Keegan Sweet with a hard defense, almost losing the ball there is Sackett.
Well, I'm glad Madison's pressing them. They aren't just letting them sit back and throw the ball around.
They can't. Poor holding the ball up top, over to Kelly. Kelly's going to take another 3. This one's no good. Jared Sloop with the leaping rebound there.
Lucky for Madison because they lost Kelly on that switch, and he had an open look for 3.
Wide open. As Sweet's going to take the ball.
With a minute left, they got to hope for a 2-for-1 here. Get a shot and then get back on defense and get another basket before the end of the half.
Crazy pass over to Keegan Sweet. Sweet with a 3. This one is no good.
They wanted to go in. Didn't quite have the roll. Still with 44 seconds left though, Jesse. I think Madison's got to try to get a quick basket, go back, play defense, try to get another one, but we'll see what happens.
And Sweet has no trouble shooting the ball there as that 3 comes down. That's his 3rd 3 of the night.
It is indeed. He did a great job. Actually, it was a really nice job by Rainey of pulling the defense over, which allowed Sweet to just step right back off the baseline and settle in the corner.
And we had the press again by the Trojans. Over to Karappas. Karappas going to throw it all the way over to Poor. Poor's going to go back to
left.
Kelly.
Figure Clinton's going to hold it for the last shot now.
Yeah. Then a pick by Rogers. Over to Poor. Back to Sackett. Kelly calling for the ball. Going to be a deep 3. No good. And no time left.
And that one was almost from the volleyball line on the court out here, that black volleyball line. That's closer to half court than it is to the 3-point line. I'm not saying that he can't make that shot, but maybe you want to be a little bit closer when you still have a couple seconds to do something with it.
So the score at halftime is 21 Redskins, Trojans 15. We'll be back. You are watching Michigan High School Basketball Tournament on LSPN, your home for Lenawee Sports.
Don't let E. coli mosh with your food. An estimated 3,000 Americans die from a foodborne illness each year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So always separate raw meat from vegetables. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
You're doing great. We're gonna try this again, okay?
Okay.
Wheels, pedals, handlebar, brakes. Sit up straight, keep your weight in the center. Keep your eyes on the road, hands on the grips, button the seat. If we feel ourselves falling, what do?
Just keep
pedaling. Good girl. Now remember, it's all about balance and steering. Steer with your hands, steer with your body. Steer into the corners and you stay out of trouble. And the bell's your buddy, so go ahead and ding that. All right, you ready? Here we go. Pedal, honey, pedal. There you go, you're a bike rider.
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
This is why you took a second job. While you taught yourself how to fix the plumbing. While you'll do whatever it takes to keep your home. And that is why we want to help. We are making home affordable, a free government resource that can make paying the mortgage easier. Call 888-995-HOPE today.
Gosh, Darlene, it sure is amazing how much we have in common.
I know, Larry. We both love three-car pileups. We both were built in Buffalo.
And we both know wearing safety belts helps save thousands of lives.
Yeah, this is fascinating.
Don't mind Vince. He's getting over a bad breakup.
I know. Janet's picking up the pieces, too. They're in here.
I wish they understood it's all worth it to get people to buckle up.
Hey, lacerated lovebirds, I sense a major crush.
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
Talk about head over heels.
How can I help my daughter with her reading?
Searching for help with Dachshund Reading.
No.
Let me try. Sarah's bright, but when she's reading, she has trouble sounding out words. Playing world music. What?
I give up.
Wait, I was trying to show you how Sarah feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
Join parents and experts at understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues to help your child thrive.
Okay, so what would you bring to my company?
What do you need?
I need problem-solving skills.
I got through high school without a car, a phone, or a computer.
No college degree, though.
Not yet, but life's taught me a lot, and I'm ready for more.
Well, you're not the typical kind of candidate that I hire. But you are exactly what I'm looking for.
Your company could be missing out on the candidates it needs most. Learn how to find a great pool of untapped talent at gradsoflife.org.
It's time for You Lost Your Life with your hosts, Christ Dummies, Vince and Larry. Hi. Hello, and welcome to the show that proves if you don't buckle your safety belt, the loser is you.
That's right, Vince, and by not buckling up, you could end up in places you never dreamed.
Like traction!
Or the emergency room!
Plus, Larry, if you're not buckled up, you could maybe take a ride in a beauty like this. Stay tuned!
You could learn a lot from a dummy. Buckle your safety belt.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
All right, and welcome back. We're having the halftime show here. I'm Jesse Ramirez, as always, alongside Dan Empson. Dan, the Madison Trojans 15, Clinton Redskins 21. What can you take away from the first half so far?
Well, I can take away that we played 16 minutes and Madison has only scored 15 points. Sorry for your boys so far in the first half, Jesse.
It hurts. It's fine.
But that's okay. The reason why has been Clinton's defense. Clinton has played a suffocating 2-3 zone. Both teams have played those zones. The difference is Madison, up until right at the end of the half, hadn't found a way to shoot out of that zone.
Right.
They hadn't gotten in position to drive the ball inside. They were just passing the ball around the perimeter the whole time. Clinton very content just to sit back there and let Madison pass the ball around and try to find a hole, which there weren't any. So until Madison started making some of those outside shots and driving in there, Clinton was doing a great job of keeping them outside. Madison on the other side was allowing a few too many drives, so Clinton was able to get a few other opportunities to make some buckets.
Right. And I think we saw Keegan Sweet get a little agitated, not being able to drive in as easily as he wants to, and that led to him making 3 threes there in the last 5 or 6 minutes of the game. We saw earlier in the game he got the and one opportunity. I don't know if he made the free throw. I'm not quite sure, but 3 threes there. He was the only one really taking the threes.
And if angry threes work for Madison, then I'm sure they'll take them, and they will keep trying to hit them. I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of change. We'll see what Walling gets a chance to talk to the coaches and see what his perspective is, but I don't think you're going to see a whole lot of changes in the defensive philosophy.
No.
It seems like both teams are going to still settle in that zone. We saw a little bit of movement here, a little bit of matchup here and there, as some players floated in and out of different spots in the zone, but otherwise the team stayed locked into that 2-3 zone. They're probably going to continue to do that because that's going to continue to give them opportunities to force bad shots. And we've seen that Clinton has no shame in shooting a three. They will shoot from anywhere on the floor, and a big part of the reason why they're maybe testing Madison's defense is because they will shoot a three-point from anywhere on the floor. They're making Madison have to play out a little bit further. There's a couple guys Madison will leave a cushion on, but then there's a couple of players that they will not leave a cushion on, and that's going to create a dynamic where Madison's going to have to stay disciplined in their lane lanes, and that's probably what Coach Webster's talking about to them in the locker room.
Stay disciplined.
Stay disciplined. Stay in your lanes. Keep the hands out wide to make sure the guys don't have a chance to get a ball inside. Because every team is coached. Get the ball inside. It'll be easier points. It's just a higher percentage shot. There's not much you can do about that one way or the other. But if you keep those arms out wide when you're in a zone like that, it's tough to do anything about getting a shot inside.
Right. So I think we're going to send it over to a break, actually. We'll be back to wrap things up for the first half. You're watching high school varsity basketball. Michigan's playoffs, tournament, something like that. I'll get it right when we come back. So you're watching high school varsity basketball on LSPN. You're home for Lenawee Sports.
Some people have a deep, abiding respect for the natural beauty that was once this country. And some people don't. People start pollution. People can stop it. Write for Pollution Booklet, Box 1771, Radio City Station, New York.
New dad is picturing a tree house in the sky. But he's ignoring the instructions. Good luck, big guy. His kids know that he's building without a clue. Never been so good with nails and glue. Now we're trapped inside a box. I hope mom knows what to do. Mom! See, you don't have to be perfect to be the perfect parent.
Thousands of siblings in foster care will take you just as you are.
All right, and welcome back to the Madison Redskin game here. Trojans with the ball, down 6 here in the at the first half. Trying to get back into the game here in the second half. Keegan Sweet with the ball.
The Madison fans stand in the popcorn. They're good to go.
Sweet over to Wheatonhagen. And a jumper no good for Sweet. Redskins with the rebound. That's going to be Sackett over to Poor. Poor to Carapaz. Carapaz over to Poor. Poor to Luzier. He's going to get fouled pretty hard there.
And again, you look at that transition offense. When Clinton can come back the other way without a made basket and not give Madison a chance to set up that defense, both teams are in that situation. A zone is great when you can set up in it. When you can't, you're always reactionary. And right there, Madison was kind of reacting that entire possession instead of being in place.
And a three no good. There's going to be a foul called on the floor.
Foul's on number 34, Ryan Luzier. It's good. That is first team foul.
David Gilbert looking a little confused there.
That's okay. I think we're all a little confused right now. It's just getting started in the second half. I'm so confused that I forgot my notes back over by where we were doing halftime. So that kind of gives you an idea where we're at right now.
Gilbert over to Slates. Slates is going to take a little shot there. No good. Poor is going to come down with it. Slate's trying to avoid the foul there, running up the court. Poor sizing up the opponent, over to his brother Poor. Over to Sackett. Sackett back to Poor. Poor to his brother there.
Yeah, there's two Poors out there, just in case you hear that name a lot, everybody.
Once again, we have Poor with the three. That one is no good. Slates with the rebound. Over to Sweet.
You saw the difference there. Madison able to set up their defense, not giving Clinton any opportunities to drive.
And came away with the ball there. And shoots over to Sweet. Sweet with a three. And that one is also good. 4th three of the night tonight for Keegan Sweet.
And if they win this game tonight, it is going to be because of Keegan Sweet and the three ball. He is 67% of their offense right now. Just putting it out there.
Over to Sackett. Sackett, couple of between the leg dribbles. Luzier with the easy 2 points there. Gilbert with the ball over to Sweet.
That time around, Clinton found an opening in the zone and managed to exploit it for that easy runner in the lane.
Sweet's going to be open in the corner. Wanted the ball there, not getting it. Slate's with the ball there now. Over to Sweet. Sweet's going to take another three, and that one's no good.
Almost
Sackett
a heat check right there.
Sackett's going to drive, almost lose it. Carapaz. Poor's going to take a wild shot, no good, and shoots with the rebound.
And Madison contested both of those shots, but those were two shots that Clinton would love to have back as makes because they were easily makeable shots.
And
just like that one.
Over to Gilbert. Gilbert over to Sweet. Sweet back to Anschutz. Anschutz going to try to redeem himself. Can't do it. David Gilbert trying to get the putback, but he's going to get fouled there.
That was a bailout right there. I don't even know where the foul was. Somebody must have gotten a hand up on him, but that's great because, let's put it this way, David Gilbert did not go up with a whole lot of authority. He tried to put it up kind of off the glass on a little layup, but it just didn't have enough on it, so he's got two foul shots to try to make up for that.
He's got to hit the gym. That's all there is to it. As he shoots the first free throw, that one is good.
That was the one thing that I always told Prince when I saw him early in the season. Man, we need to get you a cheeseburger. Prince Benson, he is a trim young man at his height.
David Gilbert with the second free throw is also good. Trojans now decreasing the Redskins lead by 3.
And that's why you saw a timeout called right there by Coach Rule, because he needs his Clinton Redskins to settle down a little bit and do a better job of putting the ball in the basket, because only 2 points so far in this quarter. On the contrary, Madison with 5. And, well, again, that's a 3-point swing, but when you've only got a 6-point lead, the lead's now cut in half.
Yeah.
You can see him from here. I mean, he's getting into it, asking his guys, what are you guys doing out there? What are you doing on the defense that's allowing guys to get through the lane, that's allowing them to drive? I mean, he's basically saying, if you let Sweet open one more time, someone's walking back to Clinton.
You gotta be the team that we saw in the first half, which is letting the offensive team have very difficult shots. That is for the Trojans.
And it's taking Keegan Sweet a little while to get going, but now he's feeling his shot. He's got 4 threes. I mean, he's already sitting on 15 of the 20 points for the Trojans. So if you're paying attention as a Clinton defense, you might want to find number 2 running around out there. It's just a thought.
He might have some say in how this game turns out. As Sackett takes the ball up, over to Carapaz. Carapaz is going to get a pick by Luzier. Over to Luzier, over to Carapaz. A deep 2 is no good. And Keegan Sweet tried to get it. Fans definitely wanted an over the back on that one.
Tyler Underwood a little bit taller.
A little bit.
Makes a difference in this game.
Carapaz.
Carapaz really likes those runner shots. He does not need any time to set and shoot, and that's something that Madison's going to want to pay attention to.
Slates over to Gilbert. Over to Sweet. Over to Slates, over to Gilbert. Over to Anschutz, back to Keegan. Keegan with another 3-point attempt, and that one is good also.
I'm running out of space on my paper to write down his threes, and they do a great job of moving him around. He starts the play, like you said, to begin this broadcast. Starts the play, finds his spot, they get the ball to him. It's been working great for him. And I'll be honest with you, Clinton might want to look at changing up their defense, and maybe instead of switching to the zone, doing some kind of zone with a shadow on Keegan Sweet.
That's going to stop Madison from scoring all these points, seeing that Keegan is a majority of them. And then we see Carapaz again with the floater.
Another runner. I think they may want to try to just get him to stay in one spot, because right now it is a 2-person game. There's 10 on the court, but it's only 2 that are scoring.
And you see right now we have the press on just Keegan. Over to Anschutz. Over to Gilbert, back to Sweet. Sweet's going to pump fake there. Over to Gilbert. Sweet's open. And he knows he can take that shot, as we all have seen it. Over to Anschutz. Over to Sweet. Sweet's going to try to find something. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert is going to give it over to Sweet. Another three for Keegan. That one's going to be no good.
Didn't put quite enough on that, but he got another open look. Madison is not keeping track of number 2.
And that's going to be a foul.
Little hand check foul there. I think they got Anschutz with that one.
Gunnar Rainey is going to check in for Donovan Slate.
That's probably the first ticky-tack foul I think they've called tonight. Carapaz was doing his thing where he moves around a lot and tries to start jumping into the lane, and so I think Anschutz wanted to make sure he didn't get away with one there.
That's another 2 points there for Carapaz. Keegan Sweet over to Sloop.
Put in perspective for you, Carapaz has got 16 of the 29 for the Redskins, and Sweet has got 17 of the 23 for the Trojans. It's 2 guys out there.
It's a 2-man game right now. Over to Anschutz. Anschutz trying to drive in. Keegan Sweet, a little spin move, not going to go down.
The 360 is a little bit tougher, and they're going to call. It looks like they got Jared Sloop for a little bit of a push-off. He disagrees.
We got, looks like a 4th ref over there on the sidelines.
He appears to be a little biased toward the Trojans, I'm going to be honest with you.
I don't know about that.
And that is definitely, that's an MHSAA shirt. I'm not sure where he got it from, but he's rocking it for the Madison Trojans tonight. I'm sure he'd love to come in and help out. Finally a miss for Carapaz there. 2 misses.
2 in a row, yeah. Sweet going to throw it up to Rainey. Rainey's going to give a little layup alley-oop there to Jared Sloop.
Beautiful transition bucket all the way down the line from Madison. Every pass was right where it needed to be.
And Luzier was up there able to touch the rim. Nothing happened, though, for him.
Flip side for Clinton. They had an opportunity to catch Madison napping, and they missed it.
Rainey back to Sweet. Sweet is going to try to find Gilbert. He does.
And Sweet almost lost his handle there because he was trying to shoot already.
And then a 3-pointer for David Gilbert.
Calling it a 3. I thought he might have had a foot on the line, but we'll take his word for it.
And just like that, Madison's only down 1 point.
Not exactly what Coach Rule had in mind when he called that timeout.
I hope not.
What are you talking about? You hope so.
I hope he wasn't trying to say that, because otherwise this game might be fixed. He might have some money on the Trojans.
A Trojan man sitting next to me.
Sackett's going to hand it off to Carapaz. Carapaz' little spin move there. Not going to get anything. Over to Sackett. Sackett over to Luzier. Luzier with a little jumper, and that one's no good.
Clinton's gone cold from the field. Those outside shots are not falling right now.
Rainey almost loses it over to Sloop. Sloop to Gilbert. Gilbert is saying, this can be my show if I wanted to. I just knocked down a 3, but he's going to throw it over to Sweet. Probably take the last shot of the 3rd quarter here. Over to Gilbert.
The easiest way to keep a team from scoring is to keep the ball away from them.
That's going to be off the foot of a Clinton player. Wasn't able to see which one, but Madison's going to keep possession.
12 seconds, plenty of time to kick the ball out, set something up. I mean, you got to expect Keegan Sweet to come off a screen for another 3 or something like that. Maybe Anschutz from the elbow, but Madison has been relatively one-dimensional on offense, but it's been working.
Over to Sloop, over to Gilbert, back to Sweet. Sweet's going to take a little jumper there, and it's no good. And then Colin Anschutz, maybe over the back, maybe not. He's going to get the rebound.
For over the back when you're 6 inches taller than the guy you're jumping over. Anschutz got up over top of Jared Sackett, who just, I'm sorry, they don't teach height. That's the reason why I didn't play this game.
And we got a fan. I think it's Lucas Halsey holding up the Colin Anschutz.
Does that help or hurt? I'm not quite sure.
I honestly can't tell. He's not the best picture of Colin, I can tell you that right now. But he does knock down the first free throw, tying this game up 29-29.
Maybe Colin mean-mugging is going to help out. And Anschutz has taken a few shots tonight. None of them have fallen, but the free throw does. And those, with the way this game is going, as close as it is, Jesse, the free throws might come in handy by the end of this game.
And he does right there with the lead being taken by the Trojans.
First time they've led since, I think, ever in this game.
And Sackett's going to take a wild shot, no good.
It would have counted if he would have gotten it down.
Wrapping up the 3rd quarter.
Much better 3rd quarter for the Trojans.
Yes,
Redskins only had 8 points.
Now. You're watching Michigan's high school basketball tournament at LSPN. You're home for Lenawee Sports.
You know what I think? I think you forgot to lock your door. A lot of people do that. They forget. It's too bad because all crime needs is a chance. Don't give it the chance. It's my job to teach you to protect yourselves. Make it your job to learn. Write to Box 6600, Rockville, Maryland. Oh, and one more thing. Lock your door and take a bite out of crime.
Sometimes all it takes to be a dad is remembering how to be a kid again. Take time to be a dad today.
All right, and welcome back to this fourth quarter, about to get underway. Madison up by 1, 30-29.
You know, I'm glad that your Madison players pay a little more attention than your Madison fans. They were too busy dancing when we had the camera on them.
Well, we had Uptown Funk going. You got to dance to that. You got to dance to that.
Yeah, admittedly, I've heard even our president has done a version of Uptown Funk, though I'm pretty sure that one was edited in post.
You sure? I don't know about that.
But I tell you what, we have got ourselves an awesome fourth quarter to look forward to. It's 30-29. Madison took over at the end of the third quarter there. And again, 15-8 in that quarter to put them up by 1.
For a while, the score was 21-12. Madison scoring 18 points. Clinton only scoring 8 there.
And we're going to see who really wants to keep their season going right now.
As Sackett is going to throw it over to Poor. Poor back to, or excuse me, over to Krappus. Krappus to Poor.
Any coach will tell you it's tough to beat a team 3 times. Madison's got to be feeling that as they start off the fourth quarter.
Poor to his brother Poor. Poor over to Sackett. Pump fake by David. David Gilbert caught it, but that is going to be an air ball.
Sackett is not the kid to be taking those kinds of shots. That's a Carapaz thing. That's Sackett. Obviously thought he had something going there. Coach not happy with the shot selection.
Sweet's going to take the ball up. Telling David Gilbert to scoot forward a little bit. He throws it over to Gilbert. Gilbert over to Rainey. Rainey's going to throw it over to Gilbert. Gilbert to Andrews in the middle. Out to Rainey. Rainey's going to take a deep shot. No good.
Good call right there. You can see David Gilbert got pinned in the corner by a Clinton defender, managed to get the timeout in there, and I mean, good possession, everything except the shot, and the shot just didn't quite work. Now, Gunnar Rainey has made threes tonight, or not tonight, but we've seen him make threes in other situations.
Right, he can make that shot.
He can make them, so that's not necessarily a bad shot selection. It was just a bad shot that time. So now at least both teams have gotten the air ball chant out of the way, so we should be in good shape. What I'm enjoying right now is your Madison fans trying to influence the refs right now. It looks like she was talking to her grandpa over here. He's having a good time. You can tell any gentleman, I'm not sure, 70, how old he is, you got to enjoy this, to be out at this time in life, to be reffing and hanging out around high school kids who, I mean, shoot, he wore Converse high tops back in the day. I mean, they didn't warm up before games, they didn't stretch. I mean, they just got out there, rolled the ball, and did set shots. So pretty cool to see that. I wouldn't be messing with them. I mean, I get pulled hammies now, so you got to be careful with that. I mean, here's to hoping nobody else gets hurt, though. You never want to see that. I mean, what happened to Prince was just tragic. So no injuries is what we want to see. We want to see a nice physical game, a whole lot of fun. I mean, we got 7 minutes left for one team to decide, I want to go through and win this. And with the way the rest of the bracket sets up, these are the only 2 teams in the bracket for this district that have winning records. The way the MHSAA does their brackets, they just do a blind draw ahead of time, so you don't know who you're playing. So this is almost a de facto championship game in the first round.
As Rainey throws it over Sweet. Sweet trying to look for something to get open here. Bounce pass to Rainey. Over to Gilbert. Gilbert over to Rainey. Rainey to Sweet. Sweet gonna take another 3. This one is no good.
Looked like it was in the mode, like he had the shot ready, but he had some hands up in his face that time, just left it a little short.
Sackett is going to take the ball over to Carapaz. Carapaz back to Sackett. Over to Poor. hope he doesn't make a poor decision. And over to Sackett. And they're gonna...
He really tried, Rainey did, to get his hands in there on that ball, but they got him for the foul.
Number 22, Rainey Madison Trojans.
I bet the only bad decision I think Rainey has made is the highlights in this area. I don't know.
Right, yeah. So maybe he's the one making the poor decisions. Poor over to Poor.
Law form of Poor and Poor. I don't know if anybody would hire them.
I don't think so either. And he's going to take the shot. That's no good.
If you leave a kid that wide open, he's going to take it. Too strong.
I think he's kind of surprised he came down with the rebound. Sweet over to Rainey. Rainey back to Sweet. Gilbert with the ball over to Rainey. Rainey back to Sweet. Sweet gonna drive the ball in. Not getting anything. Sloop with a long two. Not gonna go down.
That's one of the first times we've seen Sweet drive there, which is probably a good idea for him because it's going to help keep that Clinton defense honest as opposed to him just shooting threes all the time.
And the fan zone wanting the Clinton Redskins to shoot another air ball.
Reminding Sackett that he missed it last time.
Over to Poor. Poor is going to take a shot.
And boy, Madison has been getting bailed out by these Clinton misses. That's the second straight time they've given an open three that hasn't fallen.
Down in the post. Keegan Sweet's going to get fouled. He's going to be sent to the line for 2 free throws there.
Looks like they are going to call it a shooting foul. I'm not sure if he was jumping through the lane or not, but they'll give him the NBA continuation there.
Little LeBron James.
And that's good for Madison because neither team has scored, and we've gone over 3 minutes in the fourth quarter. So Madison can really use some points from the line.
Potentially could bring the lead up to 3 if he makes both these free throws here. You can see the Keegan Sweet post there. It's nothing to look at either, Dan.
Well, again, I'm not really sure who came up with these faces. I think the worst one is probably Donovan Slates from what I can see just from the faces there, although we'll have a throwdown about that a little later. But one thing I can tell you, Keegan Sweet, he's a senior. I don't know if anybody's recruiting him, but you got to think a small college would take him as just a shooter, if nothing else. Let him start the offense, throw the ball, and then have him lose him and get that three-point shot working.
He's an all-around player. He can, drive the ball, facilitate the ball. Then you see him tonight shoot the 3 with ease.
But at about 5'8", you can't teach height,
No. That's Krapas going to throw it over. Over to Poor in the corner. Poor over to Luzier. Luzier over to Poor. Underwood with the pick. Poor is going to drive it but not go anywhere with it. Over to Sackett. Sackett a little crossover there. Over to Poor. Poor over to Luzier. Luzier trying to do something with it. And he does, but doesn't make the shot.
Great Madison defense there. Clinton's trying to probe him and try to find him missing a switch like they did the last 2 times. Madison stayed tight on all of that, forced him into a bad-looking shot for a 2-pointer.
Over to Gilbert. Gilbert's going to go over to Sweet. Sweet's going to look at his options. I think we have a timeout by our Coach Webster.
Madison wanted a timeout there. They were getting a little complacent, it seemed like, their last couple of times down the floor, like they were just moving the ball around the perimeter. One of the things that they got kind of stuck with back early in the first half where they were not penetrating, they were trying to drive as much, and I think that's something the coach want to remind them, hey, we were at our most effective when we were driving and kicking, when we were having them collapse and getting a guy an open shot. And I also want to point out one thing I just saw right there, Prince Benson bringing a water into the huddle. That's a team player right there. He's injured, he's hobbling, and he's still helping out.
I can remember seeing him do that in another game I watched. Because he's not playing, but at the same time, he's got to show support. He's got to show love for his team, wanting them to go as far as they can.
As a senior, he could be completely checked out if he wanted to.
Of course.
But he's not. He's invested, and that's good to see. And that's the kind of camaraderie and teamwork you want to see from a school that's trying to make a run here. Again, like we talked about, Clinton 14-6, Madison 15-5, the only 2 teams with winning records in this district. So whoever wins this game is the odds-on favorite to win the district, move on to regionals, where they will face a different class of competition.
Rainey over to Gilbert. Gilbert over to Sweet. Sweet to end shoots. Sloop trying to get something in the post there, doesn't get it. Over to Rainey. Rainey to Gilbert. Gilbert driving over to Sweet. Sweet got 2 guys on him right now. Not hard defense, but still 2 guys on him. Over to Gilbert and shoots. And shoots over to Rainey. Poor almost came away with it right there. Over to Sweet. Sweet over to Gilbert. Back to Sweet.
Whatever Madison was trying to do coming out of the break, coming out of that timeout, has not happened so far.
Over to Rainey.
Everybody's a little gun shy right now from Madison. Nobody wants to take that shot.
I think Sweet will if he has the opportunity, but he's not getting anything. Clinton realizing that he's scoring a majority of Madison's points.
And Madison's sitting back with a 2-point lead. I mean, because there's no shot clock, it is up to them to force the action. So Clinton's going to have to press up on him and make him make a mistake.
Rainey over to Gilbert. Gilbert trying to find something here.
You've seen a shift over more to a man-to-man right now for Clinton. I'm not sure if that's because of the pressure they want to put on the ball or what.
Keegan Sweet's going to be taken to the line again.
I guess we found out.
Go ahead.
I guess we found out why Clinton wants to sit in the zone, because Poor just got smoked going around the side there. Sweet, faster first step. Poor couldn't get back fast enough and blew around him. And Sweet, when he went up, knew he was either getting a bucket, a foul, or both.
And usually in the one-on-one situation, Keegan Sweet's going to win that here against Clinton.
He's to win at the free throw line, though. He's only 1 for 3 so far tonight, or 2 for 4 so far tonight. In a one-possession game, the free throws, well, they always matter, but they matter a little more.
A little bit more, yeah. As he misses another free throw, but gets the rebound.
Apparently, it's too close for him. 3-point range, he makes him. Free throw line's a little more of a struggle tonight.
Rainey is going to go over to Sweet. Sweet over to and shoots. And she's going to start dribbling. Over to Sweet. Sweet almost getting a takeaway there. And a little mid-range jumper is going to be good for Keegan Sweet.
That man-to-man defense, you know why Clinton hasn't been in it, because they just can't match up with Keegan Sweet, and that could be a factor down the stretch here.
As Luzier is going to be holding the ball over to Kelly. Kelly over to Luzier. Luzier back to Kelly.
Kelly's got range.
Yeah, we saw in the first half. And a fadeaway by Carapas.
I tell you what, Ryan Carapas almost shoots better when he doesn't have time to set up. I don't know what it is or why or how or whatever, but when Carapas has had time to set up a shot, it hasn't gone into. Maybe it's just tonight.
I feel like he hasn't really had a lot of shots where he's been able to get set.
Well, and that's shown, because as I'm counting it up right now, I mean, he's got 18 points tonight of the 31 for the Redskins for Clinton, and obviously Keegan Sweet providing the offense on the other side for Madison. But you'd be thinking they'd be trying to get the ball to him a little more often. No one else on the team has made more than, I think, 2 shots pretty much for Clinton. And so you got a 2-point game, 122. The ball is going over to Madison. And again, this is where you get into gamesmanship with high school versus other levels of basketball, where you know, okay, if it's college, 35-second shot clock, you're looking at 2.5 possessions.
Yeah.
Pro, 24-second shot clock, you got 3 possessions. High school, if Madison wants to, they can sit back and hang on to the ball. So they're going to make Clinton force the action. If Madison can get the ball inbounded and get it over half court, they're going to make Clinton force the action. It'll be interesting to see what they do, what coach is saying to them in the huddle, because if I'm Coach Webster, I'm saying, let Clinton go. Here's the play that we're going to run, but don't even worry about running it until Clinton presses you.
Right. And to touch on what you said about Carapas and Sweet having a lot of points in the game tonight, but they're not ball hogging. They're just the only ones putting the shots up and making the shots.
Well, teams have been shooting. I mean, Sweet probably taking a few more shots than Carapas just because of the way that the two of them flow in their offense.
Definitely. And we see the full court press there by the Clinton Redskins.
Not trapping, though, just doing a man-to-man full court press. Sweet doing a good job of keeping the ball away. There's still fouls to give on both sides. Clinton still got two more, one more before they will foul and be in the bonus. So you might see a little bit more hands-on there, so to speak, by the Clinton defense.
As Anschutz has the ball, looking for someone to throw to.
And again, 5 seconds. He's got to do something with the ball or break it.
Up. And he's got to try to find somebody.
Called a timeout. Smart move there. And again, that's one of those things that Webster needs to talk to them about now in the timeout is being like, okay, guys, hang out. When someone stops, you got to be looking. And again, when we talk about, you got to be looking for where the ball's going to come from. But at the same time, if you see your guy has stopped and picked up his dribble, you got to get someone around the player. There's a player on him. Use that defender as a screener so you can come around the backside and give your guy somewhere to go with the ball. Because if a player picks up their dribble, they've only got 5 seconds to get rid of the ball. Now, they still have some timeouts, so worst case scenario, if that happens again, they can call another timeout. But I think Madison needs to be reminding their guys in the huddle right now, watch where the ball is. Watch who's got the ball. If this isn't a guy that can, roll around and drive, and no offense to Colin Anschutz, I don't think that's his game. He's not a driver necessarily, or at least he hasn't shown that so far tonight. If a guy doesn't give you that opportunity and that look, you got to get out to where the ball is so you can keep possession. The only way that Madison loses this game is if they lose possession right now.
And I think the biggest difference that you can see from the first quarter, first half, compared to now is Madison was throwing a lot of crazy passes, getting a lot of takeaways for the Clinton. Now they're just trying to hold the ball, holding onto the ball, not giving Clinton the opportunity to get a steal or a slap the ball away.
And that's your hot potato game to keep away that Madison's running. I mean, they almost got a rugby-looking ruck out here for trying to get the ball inbounded. Now, with the way that the inbound is set up, they've got to get it in on this side. They got the timeout just in time. Just in time. And the refs are talking about it right now because the Clinton fans think that it was 5 seconds. The Madison fans are saying it wasn't. And right now, the two refs are talking about it. They're both saying, I saw something different, and this is where we have the conferences, and we don't have replay here as much as we might want to. You can't really sit back and say, oh, well, let's go to the clock.
So,
ball is going to Clinton.
Redskins going to have the ball. Dan, what do you think? Did you think that was the timeout call?
It was right on there. Coach thinks he got the timeout in there. But let's be honest, as well as Clinton had done things the last couple of possessions that they had, you almost felt like they deserved to get the ball there. Madison's kids, and you can see Coach getting frustrated right now, Madison's kids froze. Anschutz froze in the corner when he had the ball earlier, smartly called the timeout quickly enough. But then when they were trying to make that move over there to inbound the ball, I don't know. I got to brush myself up on the high school rules. I'm not sure if you can go over on the inbound from this side. I know at other levels you can.
Yeah.
So maybe he had that outlet to Sweet that he didn't take, but nobody came over and helped out. You've got to have plays set up for 3 options. Your first option is right as you break. The second option is as people swing around again. The third option is the swing around again. So you have to run multiple screens to get somebody open.
Yeah.
And no one got open for Madison, and Madison did not have a chance to call the timeout. The internal clock was going just a half step too slow, or the ref was going a half step too fast. All I know is that has now given us a much more interesting ending because Clinton has the ball. They've got 56 seconds. So now the question is, do they try to score quickly? Do they try to tie the game quickly? Or do they hang on and try to tie the game and go to overtime? Should be a lot of fun for the last 56 seconds.
It's definitely a big decision on Clinton's part. As Sackett's going to take the ball up. Gilbert on him. Sackett's going to keep the ball over to Carapaz.
I want overtime, I'll be honest with you.
A foul on.
Getting a little handy there. And that wasn't necessarily a bad foul by Gilbert because they've still got 2 to give as well now, only on 5 fouls, 41 seconds. See how smartly they use those fouls. Well, that answers the question about going past the half-court line.
I guess so.
It is acceptable, so I'm not sure why they didn't give the ball to Sweet earlier, but that's a moot point now.
As Sackett has the ball there. Over to Luzier. Luzier over to Poor. Poor to Carapaz. Carapaz, crazy shot. Is going to go in. Clinton fans going
3 different bounces. And that time it went down, and that was the problem because they gave Carapaz a chance to run into the lane. You need to get a body on him when you know that that's how he's been shooting every time tonight. And now it's just got interesting.
Very, very interesting. Redskins could potentially take the lead here with this free throw by Carapaz.
Carapaz has made 2 foul shots tonight already. Clinton looks like they might be making a defensive switch, putting in Tyler Underwood.
And that's good if they take the lead.
And for the way this game has gone, for Madison to fight all the way back, to take the lead, to put themselves in position, only to have a mental mistake be the reason why they gave up an opportunity. Well, it's going to be interesting. They got 23.9 seconds. You got to figure they're going to hold it for the end. I know our producer, Miguel, will be very happy that overtime probably isn't going to happen, but right now, you're in that weird spot because Clinton still has, I believe the Redskins still have a foul to give. I'm pretty sure it's 8 when you start shooting foul shots, and they're only on 6 right now. And Madison just used their last timeout, so the inbound is going to be important. Clinton's going to be on that. They're going to probably lean back a little more than they would have had they had the opportunity the other way. But right now, Clinton up a point. All they have to do is sit back and play defense. So you're going to see them sag in that zone, but probably keep somebody out on Keegan Sweets and not give him an open look. But they don't need to be as aggressive as they were being earlier when they were down 2.
They've got to make sure they're not giving it an open shot to win the game if Trojans can.
And Madison with the possession arrow, so if there's a tie-up, it goes to Madison. But the biggest question is how does Clinton use those fouls? Do they use the foul they've got? Or do they just sit back, play defense, and hope that Keegan Sweet doesn't get an open look? Because I think everyone in this gym knows that he's the first option right now for the Madison Trojans.
He's got to be. Take away from the timeout here.
21 points for Ryan Carapaz, 21 of the 34 for the Redskins. Just absolutely ridiculous.
And it's been spread out throughout the game. He's had a couple bursts right there, but relatively spread out throughout the game.
21 again for Keegan Sweet of the 33. So both of these guys have been 60% of the offense for their teams tonight. Clinton electing not to put any pressure on the shooter. They're just going to sit back and play defense for 20 seconds.
And this could be the Trojans' biggest possession of most of their lives here. Sloop over to Sweet. Sweet over to Anschutz. Anschutz is going to take the shot. No good. Clinton's going to keep the ball.
Talking about an escape. The first time this season that Clinton gets the win over Madison. And Clinton played that possession as well as they could. They kept multiple guys on Sweet. They let him drive, but they let him drive into players because when he's driven a baseline earlier in the game, he was given an open look. This time around, they had bodies there. Sweet knew he didn't have a look. If he would have gone up, it probably wouldn't have called the foul, so he had to kick it out. Anschutz rushed his shot just a little bit. He was a little bit overeager to take that shot, especially for someone who hadn't made a shot from the floor yet tonight, and it just seemed like he was just a little bit antsy to try to get that shot in there, and it's just tough. And it's good to see the sportsmanship out there from both clubs, but Clinton played the best defensive possession of the night for 20 seconds to finish that off.
So the score is going to be 33 Trojans, Redskins 34. Like you said,
that was the best way. The best way for Clinton to win this game was to keep Madison's score low, because both the games that Madison won, they put up quite a few more points than Madison did than Clinton rather, and they were up in the 40s and 50s. So Clinton's game plan worked to perfection tonight, even if it took him to the last possible second to win this game.
All right, that's going to wrap up the game. You're watching Michigan High School basketball tournament on LSPN. It's your home for Lenawee Sports.
Okay, Simon, what do people wear?
Clothes.
That's right, so it's important to learn how to dress yourself. Here's how it's done. Shirt, underwear, pants, socks, shoes. Underwear, always first, name tag on the back. Then pants and shirt. Go ahead and put this on. Now with the shirt, you want to make sure the first button's right, or you have to start all over again, okay? Socks left on left, right on right. Tying the shoes, we're going to take the laces, we're going to cross them over, we're going to turn around where the bunny goes down in the hole, pull it tight, and bunny ears. Got it?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush is easier, and it could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
The average text takes your eyes off the road for nearly 5 seconds.
Preventing wildfires. That's all Smokey wants for his 70th birthday.
Hey.
Ready to go?
Yeah, but the fire's not out.
It's close enough.
Close enough? If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. I mean, the next thing you know, you've torched our whole neighborhood.
Which is why we're not going anywhere?
Exactly. 9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Body language can tell you all sorts of things. Like someone is having a stroke. Know the sudden signs. Learn fast. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. Time to call 911 and get them to a hospital immediately. Learn the body language and spot a stroke fast.
Really? Buzz, what's up, man? You left some leaves burning out here.
Yeah, I just came in just for a second.
Come on, man. If it's too hot to touch, it's too hot to leave. You could torch the whole neighborhood.
It's a good point there, Smokey.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
All right, and welcome to the post game. I'm here with Dan Empson. Dan, the Clinton Redskins came away with the victory. What can you take away from their victory? What something they did right, something they changed after halftime, anything like that?
And take your heavy heart. We'll start with that, Jesse. It's tough. It's tough being a Madison Trojan, but now you can be an unbiased observer
Blue
for
and
the
gold
rest
blood.
of the playoffs.
Blue and gold blood.
It's okay. It happens. But really, what Clinton did in the first half is what they did in the second half. The difference is they had that lull in there where they allowed Madison too many opportunities to drive in and kick the ball back out and make some threes. Keegan Sweet, obviously, a huge part of that offense for Madison.
Right.
But for Clinton, it was Ryan Garapis. He did an amazing job of making shots that no one else in their right mind should have made. He was doing runners, he was hitting floaters, but Clinton did a great job down the stretch of being the more disciplined team.
Yeah.
Madison's mistakes at the end is what cost him. When Madison was up 2 points, they had a chance to inbound the ball, control things for the last minute, and instead they couldn't get the ball in 5 seconds.
Right.
They gave up the ball, and Clinton took advantage of that.
But I think that 5-second call on Madison might have been the determining factor in what lost them the game tonight.
And that's what people are going to point to, because you can always go back to what was that point.
Right, yeah.
And it was a series of things that lost them the game tonight.
Definitely.
The call went against them. It was a close call. I think everyone in the stands, you could hear that if you were listening.
Yeah.
It was a close call. It could have gone either way. The refs had to talk about it, so you know it's one of those that they could have flip-flopped.
Yeah.
But the difference was Madison still could have played defense, and they played some. But when the one guy that you don't want to allow to run free ran free, it's the same thing we saw with Clinton's defense on the other side. They left Sweet out open way too often. They let Garapis get his little weirdo head of steam that he does. I mean, I'm hoping that Wallen can get some insight into how that man plays offense, because everything he had was a runner, everything he had was movement, everything he had was a split-second shot to get off. I can't make a shot like that if I have 5 seconds to think about it. Maybe I'd be better off if I don't.
Right.
But he did a great job of flowing with the game, of moving with things, and he ended up being playing their top option tonight. He put himself in the right position to make a play. He got 3 different bounces that went his way. I mean, you talk about the little thin threads that make a game happen that way. They got a very, very questionable call that went their way, and then he had a shot that bounced 3 times off the rim.
3 times and then it went in.
Before it dropped in, and then hit the free throw. A huge pressure free throw, because he misses that, we got a tie ball game, and maybe we're sitting here for overtime, which I know Miguel wouldn't be too happy about, so at least we've got ourselves a result we got to finish, and Clinton gets to move on now and have a slightly easier challenge as they go through the rest of this district. They are the favorite now to win this district, sitting at 15-6.
And to talk more about Karapis, I think that if he would have been able to set his feet and think about his shot, he might not have been making as many as he did. It's like that adrenaline, that instant that, you know, you turn around, just throw it up, and he's just making them like crazy. And almost 30 points, 24 points. Okay.
Both he and Keegan Sweet had 21 points, but you bring that point up. That was the difference at the end. When Clinton locked down on defense, like we talked about, they filtered Sweet inside, forced him to the baseline, but had helpers there this time, unlike the last few possessions. And you talk about that instant to think about it. Anschutz had that instant to think about it, and he thought a little too fast. He needed to calm himself down a little bit more, set and take that shot. And instead, you just looked on his face. He looked like he was trying to rush it, like, oh my gosh, I can get the game winner.
He definitely wasn't expecting to come away with the ball there. I think he was thinking maybe Keegan Sweet, obviously, as Keegan missed the, I think it was a layup, right?
Well, he didn't even take the layup because he saw the traffic there. He kicked it back out. So he wanted to make sure that was going to work out that way.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with head coach of Clinton, Coach Rule, and Ryan Karapis. Ryan, you had a great game today. 21 points of what? I think it was like 33? It was 33. That's great. What were you feeling coming into the game?
Well, last game here, I only scored 1 point, season low. So it's kind of payback. You know, I knew I had to assert myself early, and shots were falling this time, so I just kept taking them. I was aggressive.
And Coach, I know you're talking about boxing out and getting rebounds. I think coming into the fourth quarter, you had 29 points, and you scored 4 more points to win the game. So what was, I know you're feeling a little uncomfortable coming into to that final seconds of the game. What were you thinking? What was going on?
Well, they're a much better team when they have the lead. They can pack it in, they can pull the ball out, run clock. When we lost that lead late, I thought we were in deep trouble, but the seniors made some stuff happen. We managed clock well with fouling, putting them to the line. We heated back up at the very end and got enough points to get out of here. So great win for us. Hopefully good things happen in the rest of the week for us in districts.
Okay. This question's for the both of you guys. You're gonna have to practice, get ready for the next game. What is your mindset coming into this next game?
Same fire we came in this one. I mean, this is a great team, and we beat them, but we can't take the rest for granted because this one doesn't matter if we don't finish the rest. So same energy, same intensity.
And by the looks of you agree with them, Coach?
What he said.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Good luck on your journey into the playoffs. Yeah. And back to you guys.
All right. Thanks, Juan. I'm really glad you were paying attention. I guess I wasn't. But now we're going to actually send it to break. Just let you guys know you're watching Michigan's high school basketball tournament on LSPN. That's your home for Lenawee Sports.
You can be a hero by being prepared for an emergency. First, make a plan. Call a family meeting to plan for things like how to connect with loved ones after an emergency.
There.
Or your escape route.
I am not fast.
Build a kit. When disaster strikes, it's important to have enough supplies to last 3 days. And don't forget the batteries.
Low battery.
Number 3, know the facts. From blackouts to floods, no matter the emergency, the more you know about it, the better you can deal with it.
You're gonna need some upgrades.
Number 4, get involved. Lend a hand in your community to help others know their role in an emergency.
You guys, do you feel this? We're gonna be heroes!
You can be a hero by being prepared.
Yes!
Visit ready.gov/kids for more preparedness tips.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him going on to fascinate millions with his talent? 1 in 260,000. The odds of this born racer having 157 career top 10 finishes in NASCAR? 1 in 125 billion. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm NASCAR driver Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
All right, and welcome back to the post game. As always, I'm here with Dan Emston. Dan, we talked about the Clinton Redskins, what we could take away from their victory. Let's talk about the Madison Trojans, their loss tonight and the end of their season. What can you tell us or take away from tonight?
Do you need a moment? You gonna be okay?
I think I'm good.
All right.
I think I'm good. Let's go.
Madison, they played hard. They really did. And again, like we talked about at the beginning of this broadcast, it is really tough to beat a team 3 times just because you see each other, you're more familiar with each other, you know the tendencies of a team.
Yeah.
And tonight, Madison, ultimately, outside of one player, Keegan Sweet, they just didn't shoot the ball well enough. They had opportunities. I'm guessing the other 2 games they had against Clinton, they shot the ball better.
I'm guessing, yeah.
And that made a big difference tonight. They're usually scoring 47 points a game. They got held to 33. So that right there is a big reason for why Madison didn't get where they wanted to get to. Calvin Anschutz only made a couple of free throws, didn't make anything from the floor, including that last shot that would have won them the game. But again, outside of Sweet, they just didn't show that they had any other options offensively. Outside of him driving and kicking and trying to get open, he did a great job of doing that. I'd love to see him apply that trade at the college level with somebody, because any kid who can make a shot, the 2 things that are hardest to teach is just getting to knowing where to get to on the court and height.
Which you can't teach that.
I was not gifted in that department. I missed that lesson. I also missed the part about getting a spot on the floor. I can tell you about it, but don't expect me to make the shot. But Madison, they did a good enough job on defense. Anytime you hold a team in 32 minutes to 34 points, if you'd have told Coach Webster at the beginning of the game, you're going to hold Clinton to 34 points, he would have said, I'll take it. We're probably going to win this game going away by 15 or something like that.
Right.
But they didn't shoot the ball well enough. They struggled to get in the lane. Outside of Keegan Sweet penetrating a few times, they did not get the ball inside very often. When they did get the ball inside, they struggled to get anything resembling a clean look. And when you play against a zone defense, what we talked about earlier in the game, you don't have time to sit back and think when you get the ball in the post.
Right.
You don't have that moment to put your back into somebody and decide, I'm going to go left, am I going to go right, am I going to face them up? You've got to make a quick decision, and the quick decisions didn't work out for Madison tonight.
Right. So on that note, we're going to send it to break. We'll be joined by Wallen after the break. You're watching Michigan High School basketball tournament on LSPN. You're home for Lenawee Sports.
I'm Woodsy Owl, and I'm here to tell you about a dirty word, pollution. Help Woodsy spread the word. Never be a dirty bird.
Hoo-hoo. Don't paint or write off buildings. That's pollution.
Give a hoot. Don't pollute. Never be a dirty bird.
Hoo-hoo. Turn your radio down. That's noise pollution.
In the city or in the woods, help keep America looking good.
A boy born in Joplin, Missouri was fascinated by anything with wheels and a motor. The odds of him winning both the Daytona 500 and the Brickyard 400 in the same year? 1 in 195 million. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I'm Jamie McMurray, and my niece has autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
All right, and welcome back to our post game. Me and Dan Emson are joined by Wallen Augustin. Augustine? I'm just gonna
pick whatever you want.
I'll say whatever I want. Cool. Wallen, on the sideline, we saw that big play at the end, the 5-second call on Madison. What was going through the head, or what were the coaches saying? What were the refs saying? What could you take away from that?
Well, pretty much it went how you thought anybody would think it would go. Coach Webster was upset. Didn't think it was 5 seconds. The fans were upset. Coach Rule didn't really much say nothing. He just wanted to get the ball and get the game going. But I mean, I think where it really came, where you really saw the emotions, was from the fans in the student section, and they're kind of going at it a little bit, saying, which is what you would expect for something like that. But it was an important part of the game.
It's probably a good thing there's 94 feet separating the two sides,
absolutely,
the two
absolutely.
fan bases. There was still good sportsmanship out there. But Wallen, with the way that this game finished out, with the way that Madison moved their last possession around, and in general with the Madison offense, was that what you would have done in that situation? Would you have made a different decision there at the end?
I mean, I feel like everybody knew who they wanted to get the ball to. Sweet was their scorer. You know, he was the one getting the ball in the basket. And I think he was, maybe they were trying to go a different route and giving it to someone else. But at the end of the day, if the ball goes in, you're a genius. If it doesn't, you messed up. So, I mean, I don't know what I would have did, but I think they did their best to try to pull it out.
All right. Well, thank you, Wallen. As always, I'm Jesse Ramirez, joined by Dan Emson and Wallen Augustine. I'm just going to say both of them. I'll say both. Tonight, the Clinton Redskins were victorious over the Madison Trojans with a final score of 34-33.
Be sure to tune into our next game as March Magic rolls along in Michigan. LSPN is coming to Adrian High School for the semifinal rounds of the men's Class B district tournament. We'll be covering both the Onstead Wildcats and the Tecumseh Indians. This has been a presentation of LSPN, your home for Lenawee Sports.